Deuteronomy 19. Now that we're done murdering the witches, it's time to get revenge on our other enemies. We're gonna go full Hammurabi with a literal eye for an eye commandment, because I guess we still haven't learned how forgiveness works. But first, we need to learn about the cities of refuge for murderers, because, as it turns out, a good chunk of the land the Israelites are getting is reserved for those who accidentally kill people. When the Lord your God has destroyed the nations whose land he is giving you, and when you have driven them out and settled in their towns and houses, then set aside for yourselves 3 cities in the land the Lord your God is giving you to possess. Determine the distances involved, and divide into 3 parts the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, so that a person who kills someone may flee for refuge to one of these cities. If you were given a lot of property, like many acres of a fully furnished new land, and you had to create a brand new society, there are a lot of things you would want to do first. Create a constitution. Make sure you have all the basic necessities. But in the Bible, the first order of business is creating multiple havens for involuntary manslayers, which you would think we would need only if murders were a constant occurrence. These people don't even have guns. What the hell were they doing? How is the body count so high that we need entire cities for the murderers? I mean, even dangerous cities just build some jails. These people are so violent, they're just handing over entire cities to the stabbers. This is the rule concerning anyone who kills a person and flees there for safety. Anyone who kills a neighbor unintentionally without malice aforethought. For instance, a man may go into the forest with his neighbor to cut wood, and as he swings his axe to fell a tree, the head may fly off and hit his neighbor and kill him. That man may flee to one of these cities and save his life. Otherwise, the avenger of blood might pursue him in a rage, overtake him if the distance is too great, and kill him even though he is not deserving of death, since he did it to his neighbor without malice aforethought. This is why I command you to set aside for yourselves 3 cities. Oh my God. Okay, imagine this. The Bible writers are sitting in a room somewhere trying to think of a good example of an accidental murder. And they all landed on 2 guys go into the woods to chop trees. And one of them swings his axe, and then the sharp part of the axe flies off the handle and lodges itself into the skull of an innocent bystander. But before that dude's family comes after you, don't worry, we made an entire city for you to find safety. And apparently, accidental tragedies like these are so commonplace, we need 3 entire cities to house literal axe murderers. No one teaches you the good stuff in Sunday school. If you accidentally kill someone today, odds are you're not going to jail for a long time. I mean, you have enough trauma to deal with. There was no malice intended. You're gonna have to live with yourself. So take the punishment, go free eventually, and hopefully in the future, you can find a way to make amends. But in biblical times, revenge was apparently so popular that all those accidental killers needed to move to a new town where they could be safe from the wrath of their victims' families. I thought the Israelites were moving to the promised land, but it sounds more like a hellhole. If the Lord your God enlarges your territory, as he promised on oath to your ancestors, and gives you the whole land he promised them, because you carefully follow all these laws I command you today, to love the Lord your God and to walk always in obedience to him, then you are to set aside 3 more cities. Do this so that innocent blood will not be shed in your land, which the Lord your God is giving you as your inheritance, and so that you will not be guilty of bloodshed. So if the Israelites are good and obedient and get more land, then they need to build 3 more sanctuary cities for axe murderers. Because even good guys with axes eventually become evil. I've heard of driving through the wrong part of town, but only in the Bible do we talk about 6 towns dedicated to sheltering alleged killers. I thought God had bloodlust. These people are creating 6 separate cities for all the whoopsie killers. We haven't even talked about the actual killers either. What about the axe murderers who totally wanted to chop someone's head off? Where are they going? They're not being sent to the my bad murder towns. So are they going to jails in the innocent towns? Because that means we have jails in the good areas and entire cities that are bad areas. There's only like 4 spots where no murders happen. 4 godly spots where we pray to God and sacrifice 1 million animals every day. But if out of hate someone lies in wait, assaults and kills a neighbor, and then flees to one of these cities, the killer shall be sent for by the town elders, be brought back from the city, and be handed over to the avenger of blood to die. Show no pity. You must purge from Israel the guilt of shedding innocent blood, so that it may go well with you. I stand corrected. There are no jails in the good towns. In those bastions of heaven on earth, we take alleged murderers, throw them to the victims' families, and let them do whatever they want. No mercy, no forgiveness. That is somehow so much worse than it needs to be. Do not move your neighbor's boundary stone set up by your predecessors in the inheritance you receive in the land the Lord your God is giving you to possess. Gotta throw that in there. No moving the fence by 2 centimeters every day just because you don't think anyone will notice. Stop being greedy. In this community, we accept the land we were given and then get back to work murdering people on purpose or accidentally, or getting vengeance on murderers, or going to work as wardens, I guess, because you're gonna need a lot of security in these places. But maybe you're all wondering, how do we know when someone's really guilty? Because you know all those axe murderers are gonna say it was all a mistake and the axe head just flew off. One witness is not enough to convict anyone accused of any crime or offense they may have committed. A matter must be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. All that tells me is that if I notice any witnesses to my crimes, I need to murder those extra innocent people in order to avoid the death penalty. That is messed up. If a malicious witness takes the stand to accuse someone of a crime, the 2 people involved in the dispute must stand in the presence of the Lord before the priests and the judges who are in office at the time. The judges must make a thorough investigation, and if the witness proves to be a liar, giving false testimony against a fellow Israelite, then do to the false witness as that witness intended to do to the other party. You must purge the evil from among you. The rest of the people will hear of this and be afraid, and never again will such an evil thing be done among you. Show no pity. Life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Jesus. Okay, so if a witness lies and says guy 1 stabbed guy 2, and we find out it never happened, we all get to stab the witness. Eye for an eye. But how do we know that witness is a liar? Isn't this a circular problem? Do we need multiple other witnesses who can vouch for what the first witness is saying? I thought this chapter got weird when we talked about protecting accidental killers. But that's before we got into the bizarro justice system that doesn't understand how DNA works, but assumes that multiple witnesses must always be credible, even though we know that's not how it works. And that's why there are 7 million imitations of the podcast Serial. A lot of people can have shared delusions and believe something that turns out to be a lie. The Bible is a perfect example of that.